What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the B-Dubs Movie Hub. I've got a list here for you today as I take part in the Rad 9 Challenge for 1994. Here is my top 9 films from that year. So as I sit here wearing a t-shirt for the Raddest film of 1984, in my opinion, I'm going to give you my list for 1994. You may have noticed on my community page a few weeks ago, I did post a top 9 for 1994, but I decided to revamp it a little bit. After seeing some of the other videos that YouTubers have been posting, I realized I left some stuff out. There was one movie I completely missed when even going through the list of movies. So I made some changes to it. I took 2 movies out. I put 2 movies in. I'm going to show you the 2 movies now that I took out as honorable mentions because I feel like they at least deserve that. The first one is The Lion King. There was a movie that I missed completely that I had to put in over this one. Obviously, The Lion King is a great movie. It's a classic from Disney. But I had to take this one out. I do remember I saw this in theaters with a double feature with Angels in the Outfield in 1994. So I do have a good memory of seeing it in theaters. Seen it thousands of times, it feels like, but I had to take this one out for one other one. All right, my next honorable mention is probably number 1 on a lot of people's lists. But like I said, as I was thinking about it, I really needed to have something that I felt I had watched a lot more in the 90s. So I did take this out, and don't kill me, I took out The Shawshank Redemption. Again, obviously, it's a phenomenal movie. It's really is one of the best movies ever, but there are just, like I said, there's just too many movies in 1994. I had to replace this with something else that I just felt was a movie that I watched a lot more than I ever watched this. So I took out Shawshank Redemption. Sorry, don't mean to offend anybody. On to the top 9. A bunch of these I have physical copies of, so I'll show those off. There are a few that I do not. So first up, I went with number 9, The Crow. This is such an awesome movie. I know there's been sequels and there's the remake coming out, but nothing is going to ever top this movie. Brandon Lee was phenomenal in it. It's such a shame, that he's not around any longer. But this movie is awesome, and it deserves a place in my top 9 for 1994. So I left this one in. After taking out the other 2, I made sure to leave this one in because it deserves it. All right, number 8, I do not have in the collection. This is a movie that needs a 4K release, and it doesn't have one. And that's The Mask, starring Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, he owned 1994. I mean, he's got 3 movies that can be on anybody's top 9 list that came out that year. I'm going with The Mask at number 8 here. It's such a fun movie. It stars Cameron Diaz. It's based on the comic book, which is, I think, kind of fun. It's just a wacky, zany Jim Carrey at his best movie. So I'm including that here. Hopefully this gets a 4K release at some point so we can get, us collectors can get that in our hands. But right now, I don't know. All right, number 7, I'm going with Jim Carrey again. This is one of the movies that I took out Shawshank for this one. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to question this. Maybe not, but Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. This is absolutely Jim Carrey at his best. I mean, he's so over the top. It's hilarious, and I just remember watching the movie so many times back in the '90s, and it needed to be on this list. So I put it at number 7. Uh, Stars Courtney Cox, Tone Loc, Dan Marino's in it. Um, Einhorn. It's just so good. That movie is it's probably one of his best movies of the '90s. It's got to be. It really has to be. It's just so good. So that is number 7 on my list. Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Number 6 is the movie that I completely missed when going over this the first time around. I'm a little ashamed to say that. I don't know how I did it. I just completely forgot that this movie came out in 1994. It's probably number 1 on a lot of people's lists. It's number 6 on mine, and that is Forrest Gump. Tom Hanks, Sally Field, Gary Sinise. It's just an all-time classic, epic movie. One of the best, for sure. So I had to make sure that this was on the list when I revamped it here. Forrest Gump. I'm so sorry that I forgot this. All right, number 5 on the list is Speed. Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, Dennis Hopper. Dennis fucking Hopper is just so crazy in this movie. I mean, it's so good. I watched this a lot in my teenage years. I had it on VHS back in the day, so it was in that VHS player quite often. It's just a classic action movie. It should be on a lot of top 9 lists. I've seen it on a few here, so good job. it's so fucking good. Number 4 on the list is a movie that I do not own on physical media. Not anymore, at least. I did have it on VHS back in the day. I'm pretty sure I had it on DVD back then. It needs a 4K release. Now that there are certain movies that have been released recently on 4K, this is probably my most wanted movie that needs a physical 4K release, and that is Stargate, starring Kurt Russell and James Spader. I love it. It's one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time. I haven't seen this on a lot of people's lists, but it's on mine because I fucking love it, and it needs a 4K release. Somebody out there, anybody that has more pull than me, I'm a little new to this YouTube game. I don't know a lot of people, but we need this movie on 4K now. All right, we're into the top 3. Number 3 is one of those recent 4K releases. I love this movie, watched it all the time, and that is True Lies. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis, James Cameron. This movie is buckets of fun. It's just so good. I don't really know what else to say about it. It's just that damn good. So it's number 3 on my list. I need to actually watch the 4K. I haven't watched this yet. I've heard some mixed reviews about it, but the movie itself is top 3 for me of 1994. Number 2 is another one of those movies that can be number 1 on many people's lists. That is Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. An all-star cast. It's got Bruce Willis. If you watch many of my other videos, you know I'm a big Bruce Willis fan, so I love it. John Travolta, Uma Thurman, Samuel L. Jackson, Tim Roth. It's just all around one of Quentin Tarantino's best movies he's ever done, if not the best movie he's ever done. And that is why it is number 2 on my top 9 of 1994. All right, that brings us to number 1. And my favorite movie of 1994 is Leon the Professional. Jean Reno, Natalie Portman, and Gary fucking Oldman. He is the reason why I love this movie so much. He stole this movie start to finish in almost every scene that he is in. He just commands the screen, and It is just one of my favorite. It's definitely my favorite Gary Oldman performance. The guy's a legend, but he stole this movie, and this scene alone.
I told you. Betty, bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
Is probably my favorite scene. I think in the movie, it's just so fucking good. The movie is awesome, and that is why it is number one on my Rad 9 of 1994. So those are my Rad 9 of 1994. Thank you to Garrett, Mel, and Justin over at the Rad Pack for coming up with this. I think you've done a few of these now. This is my first that I've taken part in. As long as you keep doing them, I'm going to keep doing them. I had a lot of fun. It was insanely difficult to narrow this down, so much so that I did it twice. Let me know what you think of those picks down below. What are your Rad 9 movies in 1994? I hope you guys liked the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm on Letterboxd. I'm on Instagram. The links to those are down in the description below. Thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.